Alright, here we have the FutabaT8FG. We're going to do a calibration setup on this. We've got the Throttle, Jockey, Rev Max, and the R6008 high-speed receiver. We've got all the connections made per the instructions. Obviously, I'm just kind of sitting here on the table for this calibration setup, so let's get rocking on this. We'll turn the radio on. First thing we want to do is check our endpoints for our throttle and our auxiliary channel. On this one we're plugged into channel 7, so we're going to go ahead and go to that. And that is under the linkage screen here. Scroll over to endpoints. We're going to select that. And you can see on throttle we are at 100, 100. We're going to go to channel 7 here. 7 is the governor, and that's also the auxiliary channel that we're plugged into, so we're going to make that 90-90. Futabas are always set for 90-90. There we go. Go over to the next one. Bring that down. There we go. And next thing we want to do is we want to check our throttle curves and throttle hold. We want throttle hold to be off, and you can see here it is off. And throttle curve, we want that to be 0 to 100, which it is. So we have those preliminary settings done. Next thing we want to do is we want to go into the auxiliary channel on the channel 7, and factory default on this thing is set up for governors. Programming on this is almost exactly the same as a 14 and a 12Z, so we need to go in and change that. We want to disable the governor function, so we're going to go to linkage here, and we're going to scroll down to function. We're going to select that, and we want to go to the second screen here, so keep twisting. There we go. And right now you can see we are on governor. We want to go ahead and select that, and we're going to scroll over. We don't care which auxiliary you take, just pick any of them, select it. It's going to ask if you're sure, and yes we are. So now it's just an auxiliary channel. It's not tied to anything, it's just an open channel. Next thing over is the control, abbreviated CTRL. We're going to scroll over there, and comes up with all the switches, toggle switches and everything on the radio. We're just going to pick one. It doesn't matter. You can do A, B, C, or D. I'm just going to throw it on D over here, just force a habit. Okay, we're going to select that, so now it knows it's on D. We can verify that that is controlling the that channel by going over to our models here. Double, there we go, and selecting servo. That's going to show you the outputs to all the servos. And you can see here on channel 7, if we throw the switch, it is indeed controlling channel 7. Okay, next thing we want to do is we're going to plug power in. Setup on this one, since we have a throttle max, as soon as we put power onto the receiver, we're going to toggle this switch. We're on D on this one. Like I said, you could be on any of the ones, but the setup is exactly the same. Keep this in mind though. If it's a throttle max, which you can tell by it's the new one, it has no screws in the bottom, has a blue sticker on it. Some versions may have a silver, but the main fact is no screws on the bottom of the case. Okay, so the throttle max, you have to go down, up, down, up. That will put it into calibration mode. The throttle jockey and the rev max is just as soon as you get power here, you just go down with the switch and sit for a second, and you'll get the green flashing light. So let's go ahead and power up the receiver here, and we will get this down. Switch is in the up mode for starting. We're going to power this guy on. Okay, we're going to go down, up. We are now in calibration mode, as you can see, with the flashing green light. So what we want to do now is give it the input from the throttle. So we're going to go to a high stick. You can see it changes colors. We go back down to a low stick. Now at this point you would tell it, since this is a throttle max, it has both the rev max and the throttle jockey pro built into it. At this point you want to tell it what function to be in. Green is governor, yellow is, kind of looks orange on here, but yellow is limiter. So exit out at this point with the same switch, whatever function you want it to be. Let's just bail out of this thing on limiter mode, so we'll go down with the switch. Stays on, showing that it did take it. If we go to a low stick, it should go off. So we're good to go there. Now, we know this works. Go above 25%. Light comes on, so it is calibrated correctly. Next thing we want to do is tell the radio to go back into a governor function. So we're going to go ahead and go to that function screen again. There we go. We're going to select that. Scroll back over to the 7. We select box 5. Like I said, it didn't matter which one of the auxiliaries. We're going to go ahead and select that. We're going to take it back to governor. Now we want to select governor 1, not governor 2. Governor 2 is for the GV1, and we want governor 1, so we're going to select that. It's going to ask if we're sure, and we are. So now it's governor. Factory default on this thing is when you turn governor mode on, it is automatically coupled to the flight mode switch, and we're just going to leave it that way. So now we can get out of this mode, and we're going to want to go over to our governor screen, which is under model. Second page at the end. Whoops, there we go. I'm going to select that. Okay, on Futaba systems, default usually on these things also for the rate is 50%. 50% equals disengaged. That means the throttle jockey is not on. You can verify that as we go up and down with the stick. The light is not coming on, so that it's off. So what we want to do with this one is go over and activate this mode so that it is controlled by the flight modes. 1, 2, idle up 1, 2, normal, and then throttle control, which is idle up 3. So we're going to go over here. It's in normal mode right now. It's inhibited. We're going to select that. There we go. Now it's active. Now we're going to click into idle up 1. Screen changes, shows inhibit. We're going to select that. Active. Go to idle up 2. Select it. Active. We're going to go to idle up 3, which is throttle hold, the big switch behind it. Select that. Okay, so now we can verify that it is active. You can see when you flip throttle hold, that overrides all modes, so it stays in there. We can go back. So all your conditions now are set. So we are at 50%, and we're at 50% in all modes. So normally what happens is people don't have the limiter or the governor enabled in normal mode, which it's not in here. So we could leave this at 50%. We could change over to idle up 1, scroll down to down here, get the backlight back on here. Here. Okay, now as soon as we get to 53%, you're going to see that this thing is going to come on. Let me bring the throttle stick up to show you that. There we go. Okay, bring it up. 53% we're on. So we have from 53, the FutabaT8 goes up to 110%. So we have from 53 to 110 is going to be our hit speed settings. Obviously, the bigger the number, the higher the hit speed. So we can crank this baby up. Let's just say we're going to do 80 on this one. And so we're going to set that. And now we can verify that this works by, if we're in idle up, we can see that it's on. If we go to normal mode, we should see this light go off, and it does, so it's set up. So fairly simple setup on this thing. You'll just make sure you verify your settings on each screen with your TAC or our online calculator, and pretty much that's it. Thank you.